Hello everyone, it's Lindsay and I'm back with another Sonshine Stamp Co video for you. So I'll be working with this Breath of God stamp set. It is out of stock currently, but I still wanted to do the video because you could still do this technique with some of the other stamps that they have. So I'm working in Job chapter 33 and I'm going to be using my Kuretake Gonzai Tombi watercolors today. And I tried this technique with distress inks and it didn't work as well, so I think it needs to be a actual watercolor that you use for this technique. So I went ahead and laid a piece of paper towel underneath my Bible page. I'm going to be putting a lot of water on this page. So I have a brush and some clean water, and I'm just going to lay it down in the margin of this page here. And again, I'm working in Job chapter 33. Be sure to head on over to the Sonshine Stamp Co blog. I'll have more information about this entry over there. So I'm just picking up some of the blue colored watercolor and just dropping it into the water that's already on the page and just letting it kind of move around and go where it wants to go. This is going to be very loose and soft coloring on the back here. So you do want to make sure that you use a darker color that you are going to drop the alcohol into. It seems to work better if the watercolor is a darker color. I tried it with that light blue that you see there and it didn't quite work as well. So I'm picking a darker, more pigmented blue. And then I also added some green down at the bottom to kind of give the illusion of grass down there. And now I'm just bringing that blue further up the margin. I kind of changed my mind how I wanted it to look here. So now in this container I have just regular rubbing alcohol that I purchased from Walmart. And I'm going to take my brush, dip it into the alcohol, and then I'm going to very gently touch the paint. The paint is still very wet. This won't work if your paint is dry. And you can see here as the alcohol touches the paint, it kind of repels the paint from itself. So you get these kind of orbs or ball shapes in the paint. So I can add a little bit more alcohol and kind of manipulate how big I want that circle to be. When I am moving the alcohol around, I'm not touching the blue paint. I'm just kind of pushing the alcohol up to the paint to kind of help spread out those borders. This one right here wasn't quite big enough for the stamp that I'm going to be using, so I need to make it a little bit bigger. But I think this would be a lot of fun to do like a bokeh effect or some balloons or anything like that. I think this is a really, really fun technique, even just to create a background with. Would be awesome. Once you get the circles the size that you want, go ahead and dry those. If I was just to let this air dry, those would continue to move and expand and change shape. And so I want to lock in the size and the shape that they are now. So I used my heat tool to just dry those. And I can see what that looks like dry. Really, really neat effect there. I'm going to go ahead and add in some more of the green down here and create more of like a grassy bottom. I'm not going to manipulate the blue anymore. I don't want to risk ruining those, what will end up being dandelions. So I'm just going to leave those just the way they are. And you can see you get just a really soft effect. It's not super bright and apparent, but I just like the softness of it, like a dandelion. I thought this would be perfect for the stamp set. Went ahead and dried that again. And now I'm going to be doing some stamping. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This ink does bleed through on your Bible pages, so just be aware of that. That doesn't bother me. I just deal with the bleed through at a later time. I'm inking up my stamps, stamping it on a scrap piece of paper, and then stamping on the page. So this is a second generation stamping, is what that's called. And I'm doing that because the background's pretty soft, and so I don't want really harsh stamping on this page. So this kind of knocks down the intensity of that black ink by stamping it on the paper first and then stamping in my Bible, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and use that larger dandelion and the smaller dandelion. And then it also comes with these little stems. So I'm just going to figure out where I want those. This video took a long time to film, but the technique really, it would have taken me maybe 15 minutes to do this page if I hadn't been filming it. So this is very, very quick, very, very easy technique. So I hope that you would give it a try. So with the stem, I'm doing the same thing. I'm inking it up. and then stamping it on that scrap paper, and then taking it to my Bible page. And now you have these really fun looking dandelions. I just love how this page turned out. I think it was just a lot of fun, and I really want to experiment some more with that alcohol and watercolor technique. It also has these little seeds in a stamp, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp those down. Same thing. And here I made a mistake. I had a little bit of ink on my acrylic block and got it onto the page. I know I'm not the only one that's had that happen, so I'm going to mess with it and try to fix it here in a second, but in the end I just kind of leave it. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to stamp a few more of these little seeds so it looks like the wind is blowing these dandelions. So here I went ahead and picked up some antique white acrylic paint to try to cover that smudge, but this color is a little too dark, a little too yellow, and you could still really notice where that ink was. I'm going to try this with Porcelain Doll by Martha Stewart. This is a little bit better, but still isn't great, so it's not the end of the world. I'm not horribly upset about it. Now I'll go ahead and add some ink splatters, and this is what kind of helps camouflage that oops with the stamping. So I'm just going to tap that all over the page. And you can see I tapped some of the excess off on that cardstock before I take it to the page. That way I'm not getting huge, giant drops of paint. I'm also going to sprinkle some white watercolor on there as well. These Kiritake Gansai Tombi paints are very pigmented, so that even that white shows up on the page. Now there's this wonderful like hand lettered stamp in this set. It says Breath of God. I think actually it says Breathe on Me, Breath of God, sorry. And I'll go ahead and stamp that. It's brand new, so I'm going to stamp it off on my paper first and then take it to the page. I just wanted to make sure I was going to get an even impression. Now I'm sticking some extra cardstock and a Bible map behind this page before I stamp this. I have a lot of dimension in my Bible at this point, and so I want to make sure that this stamps evenly and I don't have any problems. So I'm going to make sure I push it down, and then I'm going to do something kind of dangerous. I'm sneaking my hand underneath the page and kind of pressing the page up into the stamp. That doesn't always work out for me. I got lucky this time, so just be careful if you're going to do that. I'm just taking a fine liner pen to underline the verse. Again, you can head on over to the Sonshine Stamp Co blog to take a look and see how I worked through this verse. Top it off with a bow, and that is it for the page. Super simple. I hope you give it a try. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. I come out with videos at least 3 times a week with different Bible journaling processes and tips and all kinds of things like that. Be sure to leave me a comment down below if you have any questions about the process today. All the products used will be listed in the description bar below the video, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.